The alarm blared through Captain's helmet. Red lights flashed in the dark corridor. He moved forward with his team, their boots silent on the metal floor. They had 30 minutes. 30 minutes to grab the stolen technology and get out before the bombs fell from space. Was a soldier. He had fought in 12 battles across 4 planets. His dark eyes missed nothing. His hand stayed steady on his weapon. Behind him, 5 other soldiers followed. They trusted him. He had never lost a team member. The mission was simple. Get in, find the tech, get out. They had stolen human weapons technology 3 weeks ago. Now it was hidden in this underground base on Prime. The planet belonged to a peaceful alien race, but they had invaded their world. They used it to hide their stolen goods. Checked his scanner. The technology signature came from below, 2 more levels down. He signaled his team. They moved to the stairs. The base was quiet, too quiet. Most soldiers had evacuated hours ago. They knew the orbital strike was coming. Only a skeleton crew remained. His team had already dealt with them, quick and silent. They reached the lower level. The tech signature was strong now, just beyond the next door, moved forward. His hand touched the door panel. It slid open. The room inside was not what he expected. Medical equipment lined the walls, machines beeped softly. In the center stood a glass chamber. Inside lay a figure, not human, not either. Stepped closer. The alien in the chamber was female. Her skin held a pale blue tint. Strange marks covered her arms and face. They glowed faintly like dying stars. Her breathing was shallow. 2 bodies lay on the floor nearby, more both dead. "Captain, we have the tech," one of his soldiers called from the next room. "We need to go, 23 minutes. Stared at the dying alien. Her eyes opened slowly. They were large and golden. They looked at him, really looked at him, not with fear, with hope. His scanner showed poison in her system. Venom. The same type they used for political assassinations. It was killing her slowly, painfully. She had maybe an hour left, probably less. "Captain," his second in command appeared beside him. "We have to move." His jaw tightened. He looked at the countdown on his wrist display. 22 minutes. If they ran now, they would barely make the extraction point. If they stayed even 5 more minutes, they would die. "Take the team out," said quietly. "What?" "That's an order. Get the tech to command, go now." His second in command stared at him. "You're staying." "Someone should," said. He looked at the alien princess again. "No one should die alone." "She's not our mission, Captain." "I know," removed his helmet. "Get them out safely. That's your mission now." The soldier wanted to argue, could see it in his eyes, but orders were orders. He saluted sharply. Then he turned and left. The sound of boots faded, was alone with the dying alien. He approached the chamber. The control panel was in script, but the symbols were standard medical icons. He found the release. The glass lifted. The alien princess tried to sit up. Failed. Caught her before she fell. She was lighter than he expected. Her skin felt cool. Her breathing rattled. She lifted one hand, touched his face. Images flooded his mind, not words, feelings, fear, sadness, gratitude. Her people were peaceful. She was royalty. They had poisoned her to force her father's hand. Her guards had died testing her food. Now she would die too. Felt her pain, her regret. She would never see her home again, never see her family. She was only 23, so young. "I'm sorry," said. He didn't know if she understood English. "I can't save you, but I can stay. You won't be alone." She touched his face again. He felt something new from her, surprise, warmth. In her culture, staying with the dying was the highest honor. Only family did this. He was a stranger, an alien, yet he chose to die with her. Checked his scanner. 15 minutes left. The base shook slightly. The first bombing run had started on the surface. Soon the big weapons would fire. He looked at the medical equipment. His military scanner showed detailed readings of her condition. The poison was crystallizing her blood cells, shutting down her organs one by one. Her two hearts were failing. Studied the readings. Then he looked at his own blood analysis. Human, type O negative, universal donor for humans, but this wasn't a human. The scanner showed their blood types were completely incompatible. Humans had iron-based blood, had copper-based blood, like oil and water. Transfusion would kill her faster. But she was dying anyway. Pulled out his combat knife. The alien princess watched him with dimming eyes. He found medical tubing in the equipment, rigged a simple transfusion line. His hands worked fast. 12 minutes left. "This probably won't work," he told her. "Our blood is too different, but I read once that humans are stubborn. We don't accept impossible very well." He cut his arm. Blood welled up bright red. He connected the tubing. His blood began to flow into her veins. The princess's eyes went wide. She tried to pull away. He held her gently. "It's okay," said. "If we're dying anyway, might as well try everything." His scanner screamed warnings. Incompatible blood types. Rejection imminent. Catastrophic immune response expected. Ignored it. He gave more blood, more than was safe. His vision blurred slightly. Didn't matter. The bombs would kill them both in 9 minutes anyway. The princess's body began to shake. Her glowing marks flickered wildly. Held her, worried he had just made her death more painful. Maybe he should have just let her go peacefully. Then her marks blazed bright, brighter than before, bright enough to hurt his eyes. Her back arched. A sound came from her throat, not pain, something else. Her golden eyes snapped open. They glowed with intense light. The shaking stopped. Her breathing steadied. Her wounds began to close, actually close. Watched skin knit together in seconds. "That's impossible," whispered. The princess sat up. She looked at her hands, at the marks on her arms. They burned with golden fire now. She looked at. Her mouth opened in shock. The base shook hard. 4 minutes left. The ceiling cracked. Dust fell. The princess grabbed his arm. Her grip was strong, too strong. She pulled him to his feet. He stumbled, weak from blood loss. She supported his weight easily. How was she this strong? She looked around the room. Her eyes locked on something. A panel in the wall that hadn't noticed. She pulled him toward it, pressed her hand to the panel. It slid open. An escape pod. Hidden emergency exit. She pushed him inside, jumped in after him, slammed the launch button. The pod shot upward through a hidden shaft, up and out, away from the base. Through the pod's small window, saw the base below. Then he saw the sky light up. The orbital strike hit. The entire facility vanished in a ball of fire. They had escaped with seconds to spare, looked at the princess. She looked back at him, her marks still glowed, her eyes still shone. She touched his face again. This time he felt more than emotions. He felt her heartbeats, both of them, felt her breathing, felt her confusion and wonder. It was like they were connected somehow, linked. She felt it too, he could tell. She pulled her hand back, startled, stared at him like he was a miracle or a mystery, maybe both. Scanner beeped. He looked at the readings. His blood was in her system, but it wasn't being rejected. It was being used, integrated. Her body had adapted to it, changed because of it. That was impossible, completely impossible, yet it had happened. His blood had saved her life, changed her life. "What did we just do?" asked quietly. The princess just stared at him. In the distance, rescue ships appeared, both human and coming to investigate the explosion, coming to find survivors. Neither nor the princess knew it yet, but what happened in that base would change everything. The war, the alliance, the future of both their species, all because one human soldier refused to let someone die alone, all because he poured his blood out for a stranger. Logic said it was stupid. Science said it was impossible. But they were both alive. That was all that mattered right now. The medical bay was cold and white. Sat on an exam table while doctors worked around him. Human doctors. They spoke in quick, clipped sentences. They took his blood, scanned his body, asked him questions. In another room, the same thing was happening to the princess. He knew this because he could feel it. Not pain, just awareness. He knew when they stuck her with needles, knew when they made her uncomfortable. It was strange, unsettling. A doctor approached him. Her name tag said doctor. She looked worried. "Captain, your blood work is showing some unusual markers," she said. "Nothing dangerous, just unusual. Have you been exposed to any alien substances recently?" Almost laughed. "You could say that." "The princess has been asking about you," doctor continued. "She refuses to talk to anyone else. She keeps saying your name. Well, trying to. Their mouths don't form human sounds well." "Is she okay?" asked. "That's the strange part. She's more than okay. She's thriving. Her vital signs are off the charts, stronger than any we've ever recorded. We don't understand it." "Can I see her?" Doctor hesitated. "The delegation is insisting she be kept in isolation. They're concerned about contamination, but she's quite insistent about seeing you." "Contamination?" His eyes narrowed. "Your blood is still in her system, Captain. Somehow it's integrated with hers. She has human cells in her body now. That's never happened before. The officials are worried about what it means." They let him see her eventually. The room was different from his, warmer. The light had a blue tint. The princess sat on a bed wearing simple clothes. Her marks still glowed faintly. When he entered, her face brightened. She stood quickly, too quickly. She crossed the room in 2 steps, faster than should be possible. She stopped right in front of him, stared at him. Then she reached out and touched his hand. The connection flared, gasped. Images flooded his mind, her memories, growing up in a crystal palace, learning to use her people's empathic touch. The day they invaded, being captured, poisoned, dying, then arriving, his choice to stay, his blood flowing into her. The change, the awakening. She was showing him everything, trying to make him understand. She said suddenly, she pointed to herself. Her name nodded, "Time." She smiled, repeated his name carefully. An official entered the room. He was tall and thin with elaborate robes. His marks were silver, not gold-likes. He looked at with disapproval. "Human soldier, you should not be here," he said in accented English. "The princess must rest. She must be cleansed of your contamination." Spoke sharply in her own language. The official's marks flickered in surprise. She spoke again, more forcefully. The official bowed slightly and backed away. "The princess has changed," the official said too. "She speaks with authority she did not have before. She refuses our traditional medicines. She says your blood saved her. Is this true?" "Yes," said simply. "Impossible. Human and biology are incompatible. This cannot be." "And yet here we are," replied. The official's marks pulsed with agitation. "This is a disaster. If word spreads that the princess has human blood in her, the conservative factions will call for her exile. She cannot rule. She cannot marry properly. You have ruined her." Spoke again. Her voice was calm but firm. The official flinched. "She says you saved her life," he translated reluctantly. "She says she owes you a blood debt, the highest debt. She says she will not hear our people speak ill of you." Felt a surge of emotion that wasn't his own. Gratitude, protectiveness, affection. It came from through their connection. "What is this bond between us?" asked. "Why can I feel her emotions?" The official's marks went pale. "You feel her across the room." "Yes." "That is impossible. The empathic touch requires physical contact. Only royal family members can feel each other at a distance. Only those connected by blood." "Well," said slowly, "I guess she has my blood now." The official sat down heavily. "This changes everything. If you are blood bonded to the princess, then by our law you are family. But you are human. This has never happened. Our laws don't account for this." Over the next 3 days, more tests came. Scientists from both species studied them. The findings were incredible. His blood had not just saved, it had changed her at a genetic level. Her cells had adapted, taken in the human stem cells, used them to unlock something dormant in her own DNA. She was faster now, stronger. Her empathic abilities had expanded. She could sense things at a distance, feel danger before it arrived. Her mind was sharper. Her body healed rapidly. The scientists said it shouldn't be possible. Human and biology were too different, but they had found something unexpected. Humans had evolved on a harsh planet. Earth's environment changed constantly. Ice ages, heat waves, predators, disease. Human biology learned to adapt quickly, to accept foreign material and use it. The scientists had a theory. Humans were natural catalysts. Their blood, their cells, they could trigger dormant potential in other species, especially species like the who had ancient, sleeping genes waiting to be activated. It was just a theory, but was living proof. News spread fast. The Empire heard that a princess was alive. Worse, she was bonded to a human. They sent angry messages, called her contaminated, demanded she be handed over. The government was divided. Some officials wanted to welcome home, others wanted to exile her. They said she was no longer purely, she could not be trusted. His father, the king, remained silent. He was coming to see her himself, to decide her fate. Watched all this happen. He felt helpless. He had saved her life, but maybe he had also ruined it. His hand clenched into a fist. Found him in the observation deck. She sat beside him, took his hand. The connection flared. He felt her certainty, her lack of regret. She showed him a memory, an old legend her grandmother told her as a child, the story of the catalyst, a being from the stars whose life essence would awaken the sleeping strength of their people. The legend said this catalyst would come when they needed them most, when war threatened to destroy them. The catalyst would give their own life to save one of royal blood, and that royal would become something new, something strong enough to unite their fractured people. "You think I'm this catalyst?" asked. Nodded. She placed his hand over her heart. He felt both hearts beating, strong and steady, alive because of him. "Your people might exile you because of what I did," said. Smiled, shook her head. She showed him another image, her vision of the future, humans and standing together, not separate species, but partners, friends, family. "That's a nice dream," said, "but dreams don't always come true." Squeezed his hand. In her eyes he saw absolute faith. She believed in this future, believed in him, believed in what they had accidentally created together. Alarms blared suddenly. Red lights flashed. A voice came over the speakers. "Security breach. All personnel to defensive positions. This is not a drill." Was on his feet instantly, was faster. They ran to the window. Outside, small ships approached. Design, attack vessels. "They're attacking the station," said. He grabbed a comm unit. "This is Captain, what's our status?" "Sir, 12 fighters approaching fast. They're not responding to hails. They're targeting the medical wing, where the princess is being held." His blood went cold. They weren't attacking the station. They were attacking, they wanted to kill her, end the possibility of a human alliance before it could begin. Security teams rushed past them. Human soldiers and guards working together to defend the station, but knew it wouldn't be enough. They were sending professional killers. Grabbed his arm, her eyes glowed bright. She felt the danger too, but she wasn't afraid. She was angry, felt her rage through the bond. They had tried to kill her once. Now they were trying again. "Stay here," ordered. "Let the soldiers handle this." Shook her head firmly. She pointed at him, then at herself, then at the approaching ships. Her meaning was clear. They would face this together. "You don't know how to fight," protested. Smile was almost predatory. She closed her eyes. Her body began to glow. The marks on her skin blazed with light. When she opened her eyes again, they shone like stars. She raised one hand. The door across the room rattled. Then it ripped off its hinges and flew across the space. Stared. "Okay, maybe you do know how to fight." The first ships reached the station. They fired, explosions rocked the corridor, soldiers screamed, moved forward, followed. They had no choice now. They would fight together or die together. Just like in the base. Just like when he poured his blood out for a dying stranger. Except this time, that stranger had become something incredible, something the galaxy had never seen before. This time, they would show what defying logic really meant. The station shook as another explosion hit, ran down the corridor with beside him. Soldiers rushed past them going the other direction, evacuating civilians, protecting the innocent, but ran toward the danger. A blast door ahead buckled inward. Soldiers poured through the breach, 6 of them, heavily armed. They saw and opened fire immediately. Dove for cover, but didn't. She stood there as energy bolts flew at her. Her hands moved in a strange pattern. The air in front of her shimmered. The bolts hit an invisible wall and scattered harmlessly. The soldiers stopped firing, stared. One of them said something in their language. It sounded like a curse. Moved forward, her hands glowed. She thrust them out. An invisible force slammed into the soldiers. They flew backward like leaves in a storm, hit the walls hard, fell unconscious. Emerged from cover slowly. How did you do that? Looked at her hands. She seemed surprised too. She touched his face. Images came, she didn't know exactly. The power was just there, waiting. She thought about protecting them. Her body responded. More explosions, closer now. Checked his comm unit. Security, this is Captain. What's the situation? Sir, they've breached 3 sections. They're pushing toward the medical wing. We need backup. Looked at, through the bond, he felt her determination. She wasn't running. She was done being a victim, done letting others die protecting her. We're going to help, told the comm. Hold your positions, we're coming to you. They ran together through the damaged station, grabbed a rifle from a fallen human soldier, checked the charge. Full. Good. They found the main security force pinned down by heavy fire. 8 soldiers with energy shields and heavy weapons. The human and defenders couldn't advance. Assessed the situation quickly. Military training took over. Can you take down their shields? She looked at the positions, nodded slowly. She wasn't sure how, but she would try. On my signal, said, he contacted the defenders. When the shields drop, focus fire all at once. He counted down 3, 2, 1. Raised both hands, her marks blazed. The energy shields flickered, then failed completely. The soldiers looked at their equipment in confusion. Now shouted. The defenders opened fire. Caught without shields, they went down quickly. The corridor fell quiet except for the alarm klaxons. A human lieutenant approached. Sir, how did you take down their shields? Gestured at, she did it. The lieutenant stared. But she's not armed, she doesn't have any tech. She doesn't need it, said simply. The comm crackled. A new voice, older, authoritative. This is King of, I am approaching the station. Will someone please explain why my daughter is in a combat zone? And looked at each other. Her father was here. The moment of truth had arrived. They escorted to a secure conference room. Tried to stay behind, but she grabbed his hand. Wouldn't let go. He went with her. King was tall and regal. His robes were deep blue with silver threading. His marks were elaborate and glowed with steady silver light. He looked at his daughter, then at their joined hands. He said softly I thought I had lost you. Ran to him, embraced him. The king held her tightly. His marks flickered with emotion. Relief, joy, love. When they pulled apart, he studied her face. You have changed, he said. Your marks burn brighter, your eyes shine stronger. What happened to you, my daughter? Spoke quickly explaining everything. The poison, the base. Choice to stay, his blood, the transformation. The king listened silently. His expression gave nothing away. When she finished, he turned too. You gave your blood to save her, knowing it would probably fail, knowing you would both die. Yes, your majesty said. Why? Because no one should die alone. and because I believe in doing the impossible." The king's marks pulsed. "You are either very brave or very foolish." "Maybe both," admitted. King walked to the window, looked out at space. "My advisors tell me can no longer be a proper princess. She has human contamination in her blood. She cannot marry according to our traditions, cannot perform the royal ceremonies. They say she should be exiled for the good of our people." His hand tightened once. He felt her fear through the bond, fear of losing her family, her home. But the king continued, "My advisors are old and set in their ways. They do not see what I see." He turned back to them. "I see my daughter alive, strong, stronger than she ever was before. I see a human soldier who sacrificed everything for a stranger. I see two people connected by something unprecedented." He approached, placed his hand on her head. "You are my daughter. No amount of human blood will change that. You are royal blood. You are, and if this human warrior's blood made you stronger, then perhaps we should honor it, not fear it." His eyes filled with tears. Her marks flared bright with joy. She embraced her father again. King looked at over shoulder. "Captain, by the laws of my people, a blood debt creates family bonds. You gave your blood. You saved her life. By our law, you are now considered her family, her brother in blood if not in birth." Blinked. "I don't understand, Your Majesty." "It means you are part of the royal house now, like it or not." The king smiled slightly. "It also means you will be involved in what comes next." "What comes next?" The king's expression grew serious. "The attacked because they fear what you and represent. An alliance between humans, and they fear it because it would mean the end of their expansion. They would face two species working together." He gestured to the window. "But my people are divided. Many fear humans. They see you as violent, aggressive, dangerous. They do not want alliance. They want neutrality." "With respect, Your Majesty," said, "neutrality didn't protect your daughter. They took her anyway." "Exactly," King said. "Which is why I have made a decision. We'll ally with humanity. We will stand together against the Empire." Gasp spoke rapidly in. The king nodded. "Yes, my daughter, this will be controversial. Many of our people will resist. But you are living proof that humans can not only coexist but become stronger together. Your transformation is not a contamination. It is an evolution." He looked at, "Your scientists believe humans are catalysts, that your biology can unlock potential in other species. If this is true, then they were right to fear you. Not because you are violent, but because you make others stronger." Felt the weight of those words. "Your Majesty, I'm just a soldier. I don't know anything about politics or alliances." "Perhaps, but you know about loyalty, about sacrifice, about doing the impossible when logic says to give up. These are the things that matter most." An aide rushed in. "Your Majesty, I apologize for the interruption, but we're receiving reports. The assassins, some of them survived. They're being held in our medical bay. Several are injured, dying." The king frowned. "Let them die. They tried to kill my daughter." The aide hesitated. "Yes, Your Majesty, but Princess is asking to see them." Everyone turned to. She looked determined. She spoke in. The king's eyes widened. "You cannot be serious," he said. Spoke again, firmly. Didn't understand the words, but he felt her intention through the bond. She wanted to heal them. "She wants to use her blood to save them," the king translated, looking at, "like you saved her." "That's insane," said. "They tried to kill her." Met his eyes, touched his face. He felt her reasoning. The soldiers were following orders. They were victims of their empire too. If she showed mercy, showed that the transformation could help even enemies, it would prove that this wasn't about making weapons. It was about making the galaxy better. "They won't thank you," warned. "They might try to kill you again." Smiled, squeezed his hand. She knew, but she wanted to try anyway, because someone had shown her mercy when she was dying. Someone had given his blood without asking for anything in return. Now she would do the same. King watched this exchange. My daughter has become wiser than I realized. Very well, we will try, but under guard, and only the ones who choose it willingly. They went to the medical bay. 3 soldiers lay dying. Their bodies were shutting down from their injuries. The medical staff could not help them. Physiology was too different. Approached the first one. He looked at her with hate in his eyes, spat something in his language, probably a curse. She spoke softly, offered her hand. The soldier turned his face away, refused. She moved to the next one. This soldier was younger, scared, dying slowly and painfully. Showed him her arm, the marks glowing. She mimed giving blood, helping. The soldier looked at his comrades. They shouted at him, telling him to refuse. But the soldier was in too much pain. He nodded weakly, immediately began setting up a transfusion, helped her. They had done this before. Her blood flowed into the soldier. Watched the monitors carefully, expecting rejection, expecting failure. But like before, something impossible happened. The soldier's body accepted the blood, began to heal. Within an hour, the soldier was stable, improving. His skin changed color slightly. Small marks appeared on his arms, faint copies of glowing patterns. He stared at them in shock. The other soldiers watched in silence. One of them, the one who had refused, spoke quietly. What are you?" Smiled sadly. She couldn't speak, but she touched his hand. The empathic connection worked across species. He gasped as her feelings reached him. Compassion, forgiveness, hope. He began to cry. A hardened soldier crying, "You should hate us, we tried to kill you." Shook her head. She showed him the memory of a human soldier who chose to stay with a dying enemy, who gave his blood, who showed her that mercy was stronger than hate. The soldier looked at, "You did this, gave your blood to her." "Yes," said simply. "Why?" "Because it was the right thing to do." The soldier closed his eyes. "I will tell my people what I saw here, what she did for us. Some will not listen, but some will. Some will understand that she is not a weapon, she is a gift." King watched all of this. When they left the medical bay, he spoke softly too. "You have started something incredible, Captain, and terrifying. The galaxy will never be the same." "Is that good or bad?" asked. "I don't know yet, but I know we cannot stop it now. The transformation has begun, not just in, but in how our species see each other. You showed mercy to a dying enemy. She showed mercy to those who tried to kill her. This is a new way, a better way." "Or it will get us all killed," said. The king smiled grimly. "Perhaps, but what a way to die, fighting for something better, fighting for mercy instead of revenge, for unity instead of division." He placed a hand on shoulder. "You are family now, Captain, part of the royal house, part of our people. Welcome to a much more complicated life." Looked at, she smiled at him. Her marks glowed softly. Through the bond, he felt her absolute certainty. This was the right path, the difficult path, but the right one. "Complicated is my specialty," said. Outside the station, human and ships moved into formation, flying together for the first time. A new alliance, a new future, built on one human's impossible choice and the blood he gave freely. The Empire would not accept this easily. War was coming. But for the first time, humanity and the would face it together, not as separate species, but as family, united by blood and sacrifice and mercy. All because one soldier refused to let logic dictate his actions. All because he believed some things were more important than survival. Things like compassion, like staying with the dying, like giving everything you have to save a stranger. The galaxy would never understand it, but that was fine. Humans had never been good at making sense. They were good at doing the impossible, and somehow that was exactly what the galaxy needed. 5 years passed, years of war and peace, struggle and triumph. The alliance between humanity and grew stronger, but not without cost. Stood in the war room aboard the flagship Unity. He was a captain no longer, admiral now. He commanded a mixed fleet of human and ships, something that would have been unthinkable before. Stood beside him. She wore armor that combined both cultures' designs. Her marks glowed steady and bright. She was a warrior now, a diplomat, a bridge between two species. And she was not alone. Across the fleet, 43 other humans and bore the marks of bonding, each one unique, each one a volunteer. The process was not forced, it was offered, and many accepted. The bonded warriors they were called, humans with enhanced reflexes and healing, with incredible strength and abilities. Together, they were formidable. But the war was not going well. The Empire had responded to the alliance with fury. They threw everything at the combined fleet. Battle after battle, had lost friends, had lost people she loved. The cost was terrible. Admiral, a voice said, Commander, his second. The fleet is approaching, 200 ships. Looked at the tactical display. They had 80 ships, outnumbered more than 2 to 1. Bad odds, very bad odds. Can we retreat? He asked. Not without abandoning the colony below. 15,000 civilians, human and both. Tightened, they could run, save the fleet, lose the colony. It was the logical choice, the smart choice, or they could stay and fight, probably die, but save those civilians. Touched his hand. He felt her thoughts, not words, just feelings. She knew what he was thinking, knew he was struggling with the choice. We stay, he said. Prepare for battle, all ships to defensive positions, protect the colony at all costs. Yes, sir. The crew moved to their stations, watched them work, humans and side by side, working together as if they had always been this way. The fleet arrived. Their commander opened a channel. His face appeared on the screen, and cruel. Human Admiral, surrender now. Your alliance is meaningless. You cannot win. We don't have to win, said calmly. We just have to hold long enough for reinforcements to arrive. Reinforcements, the laughed. From where your fleet is scattered, you are alone. We're never alone, said. He looked at the bonded warriors on the bridge. Not anymore. He cut the channel. All ships weapons free, show them what we've learned. The battle began. The fleet attacked with overwhelming force, but the Alliance fleet fought with something they didn't understand. Unity, coordination beyond what technology could provide. The bonded warriors could sense each other across the void, coordinated them like a conductor with an orchestra. She felt every ship, every warrior, guided them, united them. A ship targeted the Unity, raised her hand. The ship's weapons misfired, exploded in their own tubes. The ship drifted, crippled. Another ship broke through the line, headed for the colony. A cruiser with a human-bonded warrior captain intercepted. The captain used his enhanced reflexes to predict the enemy's movements, destroyed the ship before it could fire on the planet. The battle raged for hours. The Alliance held, barely, watched his fleet take damage, watched ships go dark, watched friends die. But they held. Then on the sensors, new contacts appeared, lots of them. His heart sank, more. They were finished. Admiral, said, his voice strange, those aren't ships. The new fleet emerged from FTL. Not a massive armada, but not just any ships. These bore the royal crest, King's personal fleet. A channel opened. The King's face appeared. He looked older now, tired but determined. Admiral, my son in blood, you look like you could use assistance. Almost laughed with relief. Your timing is perfect, Your Majesty. My daughter said you would need help today. She was quite insistent, something about a feeling. The King smiled. I have learned to trust these feelings. The royal fleet smashed into the forces. The tide turned instantly. Caught between two fleets, the broke, retreated. The colony was saved. In the aftermath, found in the observation deck, she was staring out at the stars. Her marks pulsed slowly, peacefully. You knew he was coming, said. You felt it through the bond. Nodded, touched his face. Images came, not just her father. She had felt something else, something bigger. The bonds between all the bonded warriors were growing, connecting, becoming a network. They were developing a kind of collective awareness. "Is that dangerous?" asked. Showed him her vision, the future she saw, not warriors, not weapons, but a bridge, a connection between species that had never existed before, true unity, not through technology or treaties, through shared biology, shared emotions, shared understanding. "That's beautiful," admitted, "but the won't stop." Smiled sadly, showed him another memory, the soldier she had saved 5 years ago. He had gone back to his people, told them what happened. Some listened, some didn't, but those who listened started questioning, started asking why they were fighting. Change was slow, but it was happening. The empire was cracking, not from military defeat, from an idea. The idea that enemies could become family, that blood shared in compassion was stronger than blood spilled in war. "You really think this can work?" asked. "That we can actually change the galaxy?" Took both his hands. The bond flared strong. He felt not just her certainty but something else, the feelings of all the other bonded warriors, all 43 of them, their hope, their determination, their belief that they were building something better. "We already have," said softly, understanding. "We've already changed it." King found them there. He looked tired but content. "Admiral, I have news. The Council has made a decision. They are officially recognizing the bonded warriors as a new order, not military, not political, something else. Ambassadors, bridge builders." "And the conservatives who oppose the bonding?" asked. "Still opposed, but quieter now. Results speak louder than tradition. The bonded warriors have saved thousands of lives, both species. Even the old traditionalists cannot argue with that." The king looked at his daughter. "The council wants you to lead this new order, be the first among bonded, guide the others." His eyes widened, she looked uncertain. The king smiled. "You were not born to be a traditional princess, my daughter. You were born for this, to be the bridge, the catalyst. Accept it." Looked at, he felt her question through the bond. She wanted to know what he thought. "You've already been leading them," said. "This just makes it official. You should do it." She squeezed his hand, nodded, accepted. "Good," the king said. "Now for you, Admiral." "Me." The bonded warriors need a human leader as well, someone they trust, someone who embodies what they represent, someone who gave his blood freely when logic said to refuse. "Your Majesty, I'm a military officer, not a politician." "Which is exactly why you are perfect for this role. The bonded are not politicians either. They are believers, believers in mercy, in sacrifice, in the impossible." The king smiled. Who better to lead them than the man who started it all? Looked out at the fleet, mixed ships, mixed crews, humans and working together, fighting together, bleeding together. He thought about that day in the underground base, when he chose to stay with a dying alien, when he gave his blood knowing it was probably useless, when he refused to accept impossible. That choice had led to this, to everything, an alliance, a war, a new way of living, all from one act of compassion, one refusal to let someone die alone. "All right," said, "I'll do it." Smarks blazed with joy. She embraced him. The king placed his hands on both their heads, blessing them in the traditional way. "You two have given the galaxy something precious," he said. "Hope, not the hope of victory or peace, but the hope of understanding, of unity beyond biology, of family beyond species." He stepped back. "Now go, build this new order, show the galaxy what defying logic really means." 10 years after that day in the base, the war with the finally ended, not with surrender, with treaty, with former enemies sitting at the same table, talking, negotiating, finding common ground. 3 had joined the bonded, volunteered, received human or blood, transformed. They became ambassadors to their own people, proof that even the Empire's warriors could change. The order of the bonded grew to over 300 members, humans, even a few other species, each one a bridge, a connection, a living example that biology was not destiny. Was older now, graying hair, scars from a dozen battles, but his bond with was stronger than ever. They had become the symbol of the alliance, the proof that impossible things could happen. They stood together at a ceremony on Prime, a new monument, a crystal pillar carved with names, all the humans who had bonded with, all the who had bonded with humans. Some had died in the war, others lived still, all were remembered. At the top of the monument, two names were carved deepest. Captain Princess, first bonded, first family. A crowd gathered, thousands of people, both species. They came to honor the bonded, to celebrate what had been built. Spoke first, her was perfect. Then she spoke in human languages. She told the story, the underground base, the poison, the impossible transfusion, the transformation. When she finished, spoke, he kept it simple, direct. 10 years ago I made a choice, stay with a dying stranger or save myself. Logic said run. Survival instinct said run. Training said run. But I stayed, not because I'm brave, not because I'm special, but because it was the right thing to do. He looked at, that choice changed everything, changed me, changed her, changed how two species see each other. All because I believed that some things matter more than survival. Things like compassion, like mercy, like refusing to let someone die alone. He looked at the crowd. Every bonded here made a similar choice, to give their blood, to trust someone different from themselves, to build bridges instead of walls. That's what makes us strong, not the enhanced abilities, not the powers, the choice to care, to sacrifice, to be family. The crowd erupted in applause, humans and together, cheering, celebrating, united. Later in a quiet garden and sat together. The bond hummed between them, comfortable now, familiar. Do you ever regret it? Asked. That day in the base, everything that came after. Smiled, touched his face, showed him her answer. Never, not for one moment. He had given her life, purpose, family, love. How could she regret any of that? Even the hard parts pressed, the battles, the losses, the pain. Showed him a memory, a child she had saved last year, daughter of a human soldier and engineer, a mixed family, something impossible 10 years ago. The child was healthy, happy, growing up in a galaxy where humans and were friends, not strangers. That child existed because had refused to accept impossible, because he gave his blood, because he believed in mercy. Worth its feelings said, all of it worth it. Smiled, yeah, I guess it was. They sat in comfortable silence. Two people who should have been enemies, who should have been separate, who every logical prediction and became family instead. Around them the galaxy continued to change, slowly, gradually, but unstoppably. The order of the bonded spread. Other species began studying the phenomenon, wondering if they too could bond with humans, become catalysts for their own transformations. Humanity's gift to the galaxy was not their weapons or their technology. It was their blood, their stubborn refusal to accept limitations, their willingness to pour themselves out for others. And all of it started with one human warrior in an underground base, dying alongside an alien princess, refusing to let logic dictate his compassion. Sometimes the most impossible things are the most necessary. Sometimes the most illogical choice is the most right. Sometimes giving everything you have for a stranger is exactly what the universe needs. Learned that 10 years ago. The galaxy was still learning it now, but they would learn, eventually. They would understand that the strongest bonds are not forged by logic or necessity. They are forged by choice, by sacrifice, by one person looking at another and saying, I will not let you die alone. That was the lesson. That was the gift. That was what defying logic really meant. And it changed everything.